Oh, welcome. Welcome, everybody, to the Stream of David, to the Taya Practice Group, Spirituality Gone Wild, and everywhere else that we are at. Hi, how's it going? We are just going to have so much fun. This is such an exciting hour because David over here is going to be channeling some messages tonight. Hey, David, what's going on? How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Doing okay.
Yeah.
What is okay? Is that like fine?
I'm fine. Leave me alone. I'm fine.
Fine.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay. I have been better and I've been worse. I'm okay.
Are you neutral?
It's okay to be. There's really no neutral though, right? You're always a little more of something than the other.
A little more of something than the other. Yeah. Mm.
Mhm.
Well, it's been an exciting week here at Taya. And I mean, all the way from Saturday to now. I've been on a couple of times. We've had some really fun shows. Really, really fun. A couple of great experience, David. You want me to tell you about that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so in part of the process of us becoming Taya coaches, we are in training. And part of our training was to coach each other. And so it was really fun because I got to practice that yesterday with two of our awesome people. And I'm not going to say their names because I don't have their permission. But what I will tell you is that it was really fun to explore coaching somebody that has Taya tools already. It was so much fun.
Were there aha moments that sort of remembering? Oh yeah, that's right.
There were a couple of those.
I
There
like.
were a couple of those. Yeah. And it was really good for me too because it also let me remember a lot of it. It's just like you start thinking about, okay, how much time are we spending here or here? And if we're not seeing what we want in our life, what is it? What is it? What is the truth behind why we're not seeing it? And that's really what it came down to is what is that truth? And this is what I think we'd love to talk to the stream about today is why are people so afraid to be in their truth and they skate from it over here with this excuse and they skate. I'm going to speak for myself at least. I'm an expert skater when it comes to skating away from the truth at times, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
I mean, have you ever done that? Like,
Oh,
that you
everybody,
know.
every human being on the planet has done that because you're not vibrationally aligned with stepping into something in the moment, and you've got to get up to speed with it. You've got to get to where you are vibrationally aligned with detuning fear and judgment, or through detuning fear and judgment, I should say, with just speaking your truth and admitting your truth to yourself. That's a
That's
big
a
one
time.
because we,
Oh,
we are taught to not do that in this society by and large. We are taught that we're victims, that it's not our fault, that we are disadvantaged in some way, and there's just this whole buffet of labels that you can grab onto if you want and use that as your reason not to have a joyful abundant life.
that's right. And the thing is that it only works for so long before if you're not happy, stick around, start typing your questions into the chat, please. I want to see some give me some whoppers today. I want to give a big, huge shout out to Luke, one of our beautiful Taya community members who I love so much and was just recently on with me. You guys have got to go see that. I want to talk about speaking some truth. My God, Luke just came on and just ripped it out. I mean, he laid it all out there, and I just want to acknowledge you again, Luke, because you just did such an amazing job. Wow. And
Yeah,
our
I
lovely
can't
Steve.
think of a more profound I've seen lots of profound transformations. I can't think of any that were more profound in transformation than Luke's experience going through boot camp.
Yeah, it was I'm
Yeah.
it's yeah, but it was just to sit and talk to him like that was just like so cool because he just had this depth of understanding that how he sees things now is just it's beautiful. So if you missed that, you guys need to go back and just search for that show. And I want to say a big huge shout out to Steve Weber, the American Gumption, who is so fabulous and wonderful. If you've ever missed any of the American Gumption shows, go check those out too. And I'm going to ask everybody again. We have got a great audience right now. If you have a burning question, Something that has been on your mind and you just can't figure out about the universe, about your life, about how come things do work out one way or how come things are not working out the way that you want them. Why does your life suck? If you're saying that,
Well,
why?
let's throw some topics out. Do you still feel like a victim in some area of your life? And again, if we're throwing out truth, it's okay to say, yeah, I still feel like I had nothing to do with this. It wasn't my fault. It was something that the universe sent me. I love hearing that. Oh, the universe
That's
sent me this to teach me a lesson. Think about that in your questions for the stream.
mhm.
Think about current events. Uh, I was working on the book today. I've been working on the book since 2019, but we keep going back and repolishing and going back through it. And I have to say, every time I go through it, it's kind of like, holy hell, this is like really deep stuff. And the
Mhm.
stream goes really deep, really fast in the book. And that little bit of fear started creeping in. What if this is too deep? They go into like Elon Musk style. You were robots in simulation, but it makes sense of it. At least I believe it makes sense of it. I can't wait for beta readers. We've been talking about that a lot lately to start reading it and let me know if it makes sense to them, because that's the goal of the book, is to make sense to anyone that picks it up, whether they've been a part of this practice or not. But they go into this whole idea of the metaverse, which is, I think you probably heard by now, Facebook is changing its name to Metaverse, like this virtual world that has been created in Facebook, and it's polarized just like everything else. So there's positive and negative in that, but how humanity is creating technology, sort of chasing the tail now of the technology that created us. So virtual reality, augmented reality, robots, artificial intelligence, all of that stuff, this virtual world that we're becoming more and more a part of. And for a little while there, during 2020, during the height of COVID, I kind of thought we're just going to slip completely into that virtual world. We're all going to be
Yeah, I
sitting
was
in a
waiting for
box
that one.
somewhere, on a device. And I didn't really want that to happen. I appreciated having it at that time.
Yeah.
But I certainly didn't want that to happen. I still love to travel and meet people and actually do things in person physically. So coming around to thinking about how, okay, I know it sounds nutty to say that we're technology and we're robots. We're not. We're natural. We're nature. We're whatever. Well, obviously there's some consciousness at play here.
Yeah.
There's an intelligence that designed our environment. That's why it works the way that it does. There's an intelligence that designed us, and there's an
Right.
intelligence that powers us, and we are part of that intelligence. So the real value in thinking about augmented reality or virtual reality or the metaverse or whatever you want to call it, these are just labels, right? In how we create the players and how we create the challenges and how we create the rewards in that world. In fact, that's not new technology. That was when we were kids with video games, right?
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's certainly,
kind of kids.
well, we were.
Kind of.
I remember Pong.
We were
Come
that
on,
little.
man. Pong was really
Oh,
wasn't that sophisticated.
oh no,
Atari was
no.
sophisticated.
We were Atari. Let's face it. We were
I
the.
remember
Oh,
we were the Atari
so close to
generation for sure.
so.
Pong was when I was really young. That was in
Yeah,
the
it's
70s.
totally.
It's pretty sad, but
I'm gonna give everybody just a. I'm gonna shoot from the hip here, and I'm gonna bring something up on screen and give you an example of some profound wisdom that the stream brings through. And while we're doing that, please type those questions into the chat. We're going to get ready to bring the stream in very shortly. Let's see what we have to share. This says, move your focus to the excitement of the dream and revel there, not needing a physical outcome. The needing is the very thing that chases away the byproduct that is physical expression.
we've been talking about, in the boot camp world, we've been talking about need a lot lately. Just anytime you see that pop up, I need, question why you need. Question why you need. But I want to finish my thought though for some food for thought for some questions for the stream, because I kind of want a really good stream workout.
Okay.
I need a good stream workout. So again, going back to that, thinking of ourselves as the creators of our own reality, just like we create artificial intelligence or artificial reality, that we are creating our entire experience, because everything is created as soon as we think of it. As
Right.
soon as we dream up a solution or a new experience or a new thing, it's already created vibrationally. And that, it really is everything. The physical
Mhm.
expression of it is the byproduct of that. So I really wanted to kind of dive into how do we become more intentional with that, if that's our desire, and how do we start really running our programming. And one good thing to eliminate if you want to be more intentional is to really, I don't want to say completely eliminate. We don't say eradicate, we say detune, but explore that idea of need when we think we need something. Let's get into that as well. And ask
I love
anything that
that.
you want to ask. You can always ask anything that you want to ask. But I'm being shown things that are pretty damn cool. So I'm just kind of
I gotta agree, and I love that. I actually didn't realize you weren't finished yet there, but I will tell you that I was told earlier that I was to load these and be and we didn't discuss this
the
because
stream told you
yeah,
that.
yeah, I was to load these up so that we could bring it up. The stream
Okay.
has
You said
wisdom.
you were told. I'm like, did Carrie tell you that or
No,
Wendy or
I was told it. The stream told me. My stream of consciousness said, "Yeah, this is what I get these."
put some things up. That thought is a great thought though. That exploration of the idea of need. Why do you need it? That's the best
Why
question
do
to
you need
always
it?
ask yourself. Why do you need it?
Why do you need it? So I love that. Amy, thank you. Thank you for throwing that up there. We've got it. Yes, let's talk about need. Okay, so we all know that that's going to be on the menu here. What else can we bring into play? What else can we put on the menu today? Give me something juicy. Give me something yummy. I'm looking for extra. So you guys can bring it because I know y'all, you can bring it. You've got something that's just burning for you to know about right now. So,
What about let's in addition to the need, let's talk about the need to be right, the need to argue your point, the need to take sides. Think of all of humanity's unrest that revolves around the idea of need, and that need that's attached to ego, i.e., needing to be right. I'm right and you're wrong. It doesn't take very few flips on Facebook or any social media to land on someone who, in their righteousness of their point of view, and it's the only point of view, and everyone else is stupid or whatever. That's very common. We're in a polarized environment, and we see people moving more and more into a polarized state of being, but not everybody.
mhm.
So we can talk about that.
I love all of this. And you guys, if you're here right now, that's because there's a message that's burdened to come up through for you. And I'm just gonna just kick it in the sweet energy. If you guys can feel this. In fact, you know what, David, I tagged you. Who was it? Nicole was watching you the other day and she messages or messages on the Facebook post about how that she feels like she's healing just listening to you. And I wanted to bring this up because do you guys all understand that it isn't just the messages that he's bringing through, but also the energetic connection that you can get with David while he is in channel. This is a very important factor, and it really, I don't know that we talk about it a lot, but I'm always like lifted up and bouncy after I already am right now. Just at this very minute. But those of you that are Taya graduates, type in if you understand what I'm talking about, because I know you do. I know you do, especially after you've had your time alone with David. It's
Yeah, I want to. With
quite
that, I
fascinating.
always want to encourage everyone who isn't a TIA graduate to dive into these conversations as well. We hear a
Oh
lot
yeah,
from TIA
please.
graduates, and it's good because they're sharing what they've learned in the practice.
That's right.
But everywhere we're broadcasting to share this with all of you. So if you're just watching for the first time, ask a question, make a comment. If you think it doesn't make sense, ask. We want you to do that. There's no question that's off limits. The only limitations that we have are few and far between. They are my intellect and vocabulary. However, I guess those are pretty big. So I do need to understand what you're asking to be able to understand the response. That there are times that I am given something that it's sort of like, oh, how do I describe this in human terms?
I love it. This is going to be a fun one. I could already feel it. The
All right, well,
feelers are
let's
out.
do it. Let's do it. Let's
Well,
go
look
there.
at Steve Weber pop the cherry. He was the
Yeah,
one first one to,
I don't want to see any stream
don't
code.
look. Yeah, don't look.
Pop
Yeah,
the
don't
cherry, please.
peeking.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure you were one level up more than, yeah. Are you good now? He's watch. How are you doing, David?
I'm doing good. I'm
You're
better
doing
than
good.
okay. It doesn't take
All
much.
right,
It doesn't
Amy.
take much. It doesn't take much. I'm much better than okay. All right, so I'm not looking at the questions. I am going to. If you haven't watched this before, the drill is that we all take a little moment to meditate together. You have a little bit of quiet, but that little bit of quiet is pretty damn magical. So we're going to quiet our minds. We're going to breathe, and we're going to set an intention to bring the stream in and to receive a brilliant experience with stream that you're all part of for sure. Even if you don't ask your questions, you're part of it. So let's do it. We are here.
Wonderful, wonderful to have this experience with the stream right now. Let's dive right in. So our first question comes from Steve Weber, and how does the stream view transformation of the world we are currently experiencing? Will things be radically different for everyone in the coming months and years, or will the overall consciousness of humanity stay much the same?
We are not here to predict the future or make guarantees. However, due to the vibrational nature of your environment and the nature of every physical environment, which is very much impacted by vibrational flow, polarity, duality, however you wish to describe it, the one thing that we can guarantee is that it will never be static. It will never just stay the same. It's always going to evolve and change and shift. You're not going to go back to a former consciousness. You are not going to go back to the good old days, if you will. You are not capable of operating in the good old days. That was a different time and a different vibration. Whatever it is that you're hearkening back to, whether it was last week or decades ago, or pre to the pandemic, if you will, those are really not the good old days. Those were the days that were manifested at that point in consciousness, which you are perceiving as linear time. So when you ask a question such as this, and it is not an uncommon question to be asked, we appreciate it very much that you're curious. Understand that what is going on in your earth environment is a profound transformation of consciousness. You have all chosen to manifest into this time, if you will, into this consciousness. And the transformation that is occurring is you are seeing an acceleration of sophistication of consciousness. Think about your recorded history as far back as your records allow you to go and for you to comprehend in your now state, and how humanity progressed slowly, in your opinion, very likely, and how much humanity has begun to speed up, how much humanity has begun to shift consciousness with all of this technology that has been unfolding for the past 20 some odd years in your environment, plus or minus. That acceleration of consciousness for the collective consciousness of humanity, that is creating a disruption or a reset, if you will, for humanity. And the reason that you manifested this, and you absolutely manifested it, is because you were moving out of a period where humanity has allowed itself to be ruled and controlled by and large by religion and government and culture and family tradition and things of that nature. And you are all wanting to break free from that. And we say you are all wanting to break free from that. Certainly, you're all on different paths. So, your desire around that to break free from this disruption is creating the disruption. And you are in a polarized environment. So, you're seeing the splintering of society. You are seeing part of society that is wanting to be what you may call forward thinking or evolutionary or progressive or disruptive or any of those things. And you see another portion of society that wants to go back to the way that it was, because there's fear in what is unknown, because there's fear in the changes that are being witnessed around you in that case that you don't understand, or your consciousness or your belief system is not yet up to speed with. So you see this splintering. And you are also witnessing a splintering of humanity in terms of some of you are moving more and more and more into this type of thought. You are coming to understand that you create your realities. You are coming to question all of the human constructs that you have been taught, understanding perhaps that they hold value, but there's contrast on every single topic. So the human constructs that hold value, the creation of societies and the creation of nations and the creation of a traditional family unit and all of those things had value and still hold some value. But understand that all of those confines, that is what you are all coming together, comparing notes, questioning, and some are moving out of. And in the questioning of it, that is essentially derived from your advancements in technology. You possess the ability to travel. You now possess the ability to communicate globally on a medium such as this. And in doing so, you are all learning from one another like you have never learned before as human beings. So, in all of this questioning, you are coming to understand that the one that has this set of limiting beliefs in this country and that religion and that culture, it is not that different than exactly what is limiting you here. And you're both questioning, do we need this? Do we need someone else, another human being, dictating how we live, how we look, what we do, how we operate our lives, where we travel to? All of those things. So you are wanting to move out of that period. So more and more human beings are discovering these truths, these universal truths, and wanting to move out of the confines of human teachings. And in doing so, you're creating the disruption because there are just as many others that are wanting to push back and double down on that because it's what they know and it's where they're comfortable. And there are elements of control in there that benefit some. And there's a belief system that you must stay or you must even go back. But as our promise to you, you're not going to go back. It's our promise to you that abundance, that well-being, that thriving is your natural state of being. And it's also our promise to you that you are all eternal strands of consciousness. There is nothing going on in this earth environment that could possibly end that which you are. Nothing. So the idea of death and the idea of suffering and all of those human constructed ideas that hold you away from your joy and your truth, all of those things are created to drive you toward a desired behavior. But the question that we would guide you to ask yourselves, is it your desired behavior? How much of your behavior, how much of your life, how much of your operating system was created by default as an amalgam of all of your teachings and experiences, and how much of it is intentional? How confident are you in your eternal being? Are you so confident in your eternal being that you let go and allow yourselves true freedom here on earth in your physical state? We guide you to ponder that. We guide you to consider how free you can truly be, regardless of what your government is doing, regardless of your income, regardless of what your history has been. How free can you allow yourselves to be? Because you are free. You are absolutely free and far more abundant than most of you realize.
Mm. Thank you. So let's go ahead and dive into need. David and I were discussing need prior to this session and all of the different facets that need falls under. And I want to uncover all of those different facets for everyone.
The concept of need, again, is rooted in lack. You're an eternal strand of consciousness expressing yourselves in a physical environment, and in your relationship with your current perception of your physical environment is guaranteed to be temporary. You all know that you're going to project in, you're going to have an experience, and you're going to depart from your physical state of being. You all know that. But look at how much fear is woven into what you do in that experience, and how much need is attached to that fear. We have stated that before, and some of you have asked, well, you need oxygen and you need food and you need water. You actually do not need any of those things. You can starve yourself of those things. You can return your physical being to its completed state back to the earth, and your consciousness moves on. So when we're talking about what you would consider perhaps basic human needs, you don't even need that. We're not guiding you to do that. We are certainly not going to guide you to do anything specific, and certainly not anything that is going to end your human experience. You very much wanted to be here in this physical vehicle, having this physical experience. But the idea that you need something that is being withheld, when you allow that to place you in the victim vibration, and there's a collective that allows themselves to be placed in that box, they manifest that experience. There is a such thing as starvation, certainly. There is a such thing as dehydration to the point of returning to a completed state, certainly. But understand the path that is traveled down to lead one to that. So take that idea of need out of the equation. You are experiencing. You're an abundant being. Your oxygen and your water and your food can come to you naturally. It can. The only thing that stops that is your individual or collective belief system. And everything beyond that, there are no needs beyond that. You do not need shelter. You desire shelter. You do not need a relationship. You desire a relationship. You do not need a pet or a fortune or a mansion or a vehicle or travel. You desire these things. It's okay to have desires. You came to experience the earth environment, and there is zero judgment from us, the universe, on what that discerned preference is. Whether it's a fleet of cars or feeding the homeless, they're all experiences. They're all choices. They're all discerned preferences. But when that word need pops up, and we understand the vast majority of you, when that word need pops up, it has nothing to do with oxygen or shelter or food or basic human needs as you describe them. It's usually you need closure, you need forgiveness, you need more money, you need to love yourself more, you need to lose 40 pounds, you need to have a better job, you need to be in a better relationship, you need to not be in a relationship that is abusive anymore. That vibration of need is the very thing that sticks you in that situation that you are not wanting. That vibration of need is rooted in you giving away your power, believing that you need it to be joyous and to be abundant and to be free and to be out of the bad relationship and into more joy. Question the idea of need and understand that loving you more in your now and finding authentic appreciation for your transgressors, as avant-garde as that idea is across humanity, notice that when you do that, your life starts to change and those conditions begin to shift. But you're taught not to do that. You're taught to push against. You're taught to fear. You're taught to fight. You're taught to battle. You're taught to demonize. Demonize that which is opposite of what you want. But where is the focus? Where is the energy? In the energy of demonization, think of how powerful that emotion is that drives that. And notice, look around you. Notice that the things that humanity pushes against stick around. What occurs, however, is eventually vibrational flow is going to pull the vibration on every topic back up, and that any topic will naturally be solved. So whatever you've manifested your path into, to get back to the original question, whatever you've manifested your path into, whatever seems chaotic, understand that there have been chaotic periods in your environment forever. As long as the environment has existed, there have been periods that could be labeled by the ones experiencing the period as chaotic. But it is more painful for you perhaps because it's in your now and because the way that it is fed to you in your modern day society. Once again, there's contrast on all topics. So you've created all of this technology that allows you to communicate and receive and ponder ideas such as this, allows you to find a community of other people who are wanting to do the same thing. But the other side of that is that it also causes a lot of fear. You could very easily stumble upon a set of teachings that are very fear-based, that are very victim-based, that are very much telling you that you are right and they are wrong, and you need to fight, and you need to battle, and you need to push against. But if you understand that you are a vibrational being, manifesting a life experience, a journey, if you will, based on your default vibration, and you are introducing the idea of battling, fighting, demonizing, pushing against, or feeling powerless, even, which is really the root of all that, think of what that's doing and how that is expressing itself in your life. And if that is your preference, do more of that. But if that's not your preference, we would guide you to reconsider all of that, to perhaps move away from anything that is telling you that you are powerless or that you're a victim and that someone asserted it to you and it had nothing to do with you whatsoever, because that robs you of your creative power.
That was powerful. I'd love to know from the audience how that these messages are resonating with you, please. And if there's anything that stuck out to you in particular, please type it right into the chat. So this next question comes from Amy Smith. I'd like to ask about transgressors. And if you don't have a lot of memory about childhood and don't know where limiting beliefs originated from, so what do you do if you can't remember, but you know that they're there?
Very often, you tend to your mind, to protect you, tends to block out certain things, and you don't have certain memories, especially around early childhood, because there were things going on that you are not yet ready to delve into, if you will. We would guide you to not necessarily need to dive right into all of that, but to understand that there were things that you picked up, your created belief system, and begin exploring your created belief system, your operating system. That is where the value in all of that exploration of childhood resides. The only reason we would ever guide you to explore your childhood is because that was the time that you were creating your human journey vibrationally, and you were learning from the beings around you, and you were responding in your own unique way from those teachings that they offered you. So you create this subconscious mode of operation, this operating system. And if it is working for you and delivering joy, clarity, and abundance in your now, we would not guide you to go back and explore that. But it's very likely, if you're asking this question and if you have memories that you do not readily have access to, there were things offered that informed who you are in your now and will continue to do so until you begin to explore the belief system. So we would guide you to explore the belief system. And even if you have to create a memory around where something could have possibly popped up, there is great power in you creating a scenario where you believe a limiting belief likely revealed itself or originated. And in your creating it, you hold the power to create a version of that is not necessarily so painful or traumatic that your mind is holding you away from it. You get to create your own version of that based on a theory, based on what you do know about that period in your life. So you can create a scenario and solve that scenario by detuning the transgressor of it through appreciation, simply arriving at a place of appreciation of whatever was, not needing to know every single aspect in detail. Understand that the more you make peace with all of that, the more of that will begin to be revealed to you, because it's no longer traumatic once it's detuned. Once it's detuned through a process of appreciation, your memory will start to come back. But don't overexert yourself into going in and trying to figure out exactly what happened, because understand that everything beyond what you are encountering as your now moment only exists as consciousness anyway. So that traumatic memory, or that not so traumatic memory, or that joyful memory is your consciousness creation. It's your recollection of it. So you own it. And therefore you hold the power to allow it to be whatever you want it to be. That works if you don't remember your past. It also works if you do remember your past and your version of your past is very different than perhaps someone else who experienced it with you, which is very common because you're all vibrational beings and you're all responding in your own unique way. And in doing so, this happens very often among siblings who recount very different stories about their childhood, even though they essentially were in the same household with the same parents, the same economic status, the same schools, the same religion, the same culture, have very different recollections of it as they move through life because that memory of it is their conscious creation. So your memory is your conscious creation, your sovereign creation, if you will. You hold power over it. You hold complete power over it because it is your creation. And therefore, you can give yourself permission, if you so choose, to reshape it in any form that you want. And where we guide you to is authentic appreciation of whatever the recollection was, not necessarily glossing over something and trying to convince yourself that everything was okay without going into that deep understanding of appreciation, that exploration. But if it doesn't exist for you, you can simply create it and move to the vibration of appreciating whatever was, and understand that you can then reshape how it's informing your now. And certainly that is going to reshape how it's going to inform what you choose moving forward.
Oh, that was beautiful. I would like to also ask the audience again to please share comments and how this is resonating. Thank you, John Fiore, for doing just that. And I'd like to read this comment. It's not really a question, but a comment, and then have the stream expand on it. When the time is right, the opportunity presents itself to learn and express your role, small as it may be. Your participation explodes and reaches in little sparkles, reaching its destination as we travel and become what we are meant to be.
We are not in disagreement with any of that, certainly. We do want you to understand that what you are meant to be is exactly what you are, the ever expanding version of you, and the systematic removing of fear and judgment from your life experience will open up new avenues for you to allow yourself to express in ways that perhaps you're not allowing yourself to express in your now. Most of you who are following this chain of thought are wanting to reshape the past and better shape the future more to their preference. And that is always achieved by loving what is and understand that what is also what was, because all of that recollection of the past, all of that exists in your subconscious mind. And it's the subconscious mind is not working in a linear fashion. So the pain or lack of love or lack of worthiness or limiting belief that you created for yourself when you were 3, 4, 5, 6 years of age, until you detune that belief with a practice, some sort of a practice, until you detune that through the practice of appreciation, then you're going to carry that forward, because it's going to continue to inform your vibration until you find authentic appreciation for the transgressor of it, the unwanted aspect of it. And when you find authentic appreciation for the transgressor of it, any person, circumstance, or event, in any topic, the transgressor covers everything, all things not appreciated in your life at any time. Going in and detuning all of those things raises your default vibration, because that heals the past. It cures your triggers, if you will. It takes away the things that drag you down into lower vibrational territory and hold you there. Polarity is going to take you there from time to time, but that can be experienced very differently when you are freeing yourself systematically of your triggers. And then you are on the path that you believe you are meant to be on, which is a more joyful path, a freer path, certainly. But in your belief that that more joyful, more abundant, freer path is your destiny, we also want you to appreciate all of the not so warm and fuzzy things that brought you there, because it was all part of your journey. It was all part of your experience. And as long as you are thinking about the destiny and how glorious it shall be, and not appreciating your now or what you've already encountered, then you're not going to reach that destiny. It's not going to be made available to you because you're sticking yourself in a different vibration than what you believe your destiny to be. You create your destiny. It is your brilliant creation. It is not our idea for what you should do. It is not any deity's idea of what you should do or how you should operate. There is value in every experience, even those that you do not understand or agree with. There is value in every experience.
Mm, beautiful. So powerful tonight. Please keep continuing to type those questions and comments into the chat. Let's keep going. So, again, we have another question from Steve Weber, and Steve would like to expand on the idea of knowing one's eternity and the freedom it permits in this lifetime.
The knowing of your eternity is something that in your systematic raising of your vibration and your love of self, you no longer need to be certain about it. And in your no longer needing to be certain about it, you are operating in such peace of what is that whatever happens next, even if your departure from this planet physically results in nothingness, even if it's that, we guide you to use these tools and think of yourselves as having a human experience that's perfectly imperfect at all times, because you're absolutely in a polarized environment. And we're guiding you there, not because you're not eternal strands of consciousness, but we don't want you to get so caught up in that eternal version of you that you think you need to start residing as that in your human. You chose to come here. You chose the earth environment. You chose to be a human being. You chose your point of entry. You chose every aspect that you manifested as for the experience that it offered. Understanding that you're an eternal strand of consciousness is soothing. Our words that nothing could possibly end that which you are in this environment because you are eternal are soothing to you, because you know deep down, you know that that's your truth. You all know there's more than just this going on. It is labeled as many different things, certainly across humanity, but it is labeled across humanity by all beings in all geographic locations that had no access to one another. There was a belief system of more than physical. Why is that? Because you know there is. You know. And in your knowing there is, you know you are eternal. But we want you to be so unconditional in your love of your journey and your experience that you don't even need that.
Wow. Okay. Steve, let us know how that resonates, darling. So the next question is from Erica Mitchell. When embarking on a new venture, what do you recommend one does to allow the process and the opportunity to unfold and be the best possible outcome?
Understand what the vibration is of the ultimate creation, and love that. Be that. But when vibrational flow is wavering you on that, love the process. Love where you are in the process. When you are creating something new, what you're referring to a new venture, and that you love that end result of what you dream of that venture being, because your dream of that venture is creating it. In fact, does create it instantly. It is created as soon as you dream it up. But understand, by design, this is the universal process of creation. The things that you consider big, the bigger things, the ventures, the relationships, the marriages, the fortunes, the journeys back to good health, whatever it is, the big things that are so important to you tend to take longer to manifest because of their magnitude. And that is the universal process of creation. And the reason that occurs is because you did not come to this environment with an intention of instant manifestations, especially of the big stuff. Because if you dream up a version of what that venture in your mind is supposed to be, and it manifests instantaneously, and anything is possible, certainly. But if that were the process of creation, then that version of what you manifested would likely not be the very best that it could possibly be. You would create it, and then you would realize, wow, I created this thing and it's not exactly what I thought it was going to be, and it's not doing what I thought it was going to be, because there are all these other beings that are interacting with it, and they're bringing elements and things and vibrations in that were not my original idea. And now it's something different, and I wish it would just go away and I could just start all over again. Think about that. That applies to anything that you consider a larger creation. So in your large creation, that thing that you really, 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 really want, and you're really wanting it, what are you doing? You are revisiting it over and over, even if you're trying to set it and forget it, as we guide you to do with manifestation. Set it and forget it, and it's done. But something that's big, there are details. There are nuances. If you're creating a new relationship, your vibrational beings, they're the nuances of the different levels of vibration that you're going to experience one another in. If you're creating a business, there are all these other nuances of other players that come into being. So it's going to take longer in linear time for you to allow that manifestation to create, to manifest, because you're thinking about it so much, and there's so many details and elements to it because it's big. And in your thinking about it so often, you are going to be thinking about it in your natural vibrational flow. On the days that you are in high vibrational flow, you are daydreaming, you're loving it as a magic carpet ride. It's done. It's amazing. It's the best that's ever been. And then the very next day, you're not in that same vibrational space. And then the thought of what about this? That but comes in. And then the need comes in. And the how's that going to happen comes in. How's that going to work? And then the vibration just drops lower and lower and lower. And whatever you created in your very first thought, the universe is now responding to your new thought with a rewrite of it, if you will. You're right. Not so big, not so grand, not so perfect. How is that going to work? You're right. Because to the universe, you're always right. Because you're the creator. So then it becomes unraveled a bit. And if you go down that path far enough, it will completely self-destruct. And notice that even when you start your venture, you're going to move through that somewhat. David is a fan of Apple, and every book about the company Apple tells how many times Apple almost went out of business to move on to be one of the most successful companies in your recent history, the history of humanity. The almost unraveling, but the not giving up, and the believing, and the returning to the original belief, but an even better version of. Because the unraveling revealed the things that you needed to address. If you will, the unraveling revealed the flaws. The unraveling of the relationship reveals the flaws in the relationship. The honeymoon ends. You begin to experience each other in various vibrations. Do you want to forge ahead, or do you want out? The new venture is exactly the same. Do you want to forge ahead? Do you believe in it enough that you understand that any unraveling that you create is your creation? Therefore, since it is your creation, you hold complete power to change it, to fix it, if you will. And the fixing it is always about appreciating the unraveling, moving out of that victim mindset, painful, why me mindset, to now I'm getting clarity. I'm seeing the flaws. I'm seeing the things that I need to work on to make a better version of this. And then you move through that period in your appreciation of the clarity. You reemerge with your natural source connection, which is always there waiting for you just to move up. You get up your spiral, you receive source clarity, and the solution to whatever unraveled is automatic every single time. That is the universal process of creation. Law of attraction is a sliver of it. Polarity is the actual creator. Attraction is just the vehicle.
Oof, powerful, beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read the comment from Claire Roberts because I think it's fantastic, and then have the stream expand on that. So thank you. I didn't know what I was writing, and yet your beautiful explanation brought me to understand why I even found this program at this particular timing of my journey. Can you please, let's expand on that.
You do not stumble upon anything by accident. You are in alignment with every single morsel of every experience that you have. So anything that you're doing, anything that you are scrolling around and stumble upon, the thing that grabs you is a vibrational match to where you are. And you are all very well aware that you can stumble into things that only take your vibration down. But understand your vibration was already a bit on the downslide, if you will, before you discovered that thing that you allowed to take you down further. So where we guide you with that is to create a stopgap for yourselves and ask yourselves, is the thing that you're consuming or experiencing worth going down your spiral over? By the same token, you can find something that you stumble upon because you're in an upward spiral. You're ready for more clarity. You're ready for a new way, perhaps, and you stumble upon it, and it sounds like music to your ears. And interacting in it only takes you higher and higher and higher. Everything holds the power that you give to it. So if you are excited about something, if something is connecting the dots for you, then you're in the right place. You are vibrationally aligned to arrive there in the first place.
Claire, thank you so much for being here and the comments. That was really great to have the stream expand on those. So please go ahead and continue to type your comments into the chat. If anybody has any more questions, please go ahead and type them out. I want to talk some about why when people will follow the stream, they'll follow the channeling, but not actually take Taya boot camp. And why is and this is something that's important because why is it they can't get everything they need just from listening to an hour of the stream?
We would not say that you can't get everything you need from anything in your environment. There is no need for our message. There is no need for boot camp. There's no need for any of it. We are here offering a set of teachings, and if you are so aligned with a set of teachings, they are here for you. The boot camp scenario was created as the practical application of these teachings. If you find yourself struggling with the application of the teachings, if you find yourself struggling with taking these abstract ideas and actually applying them in your life and making them your new way of being, that is what that is for. But we are never going to say that there is a need for that, nor is there a need for any human being to follow what we are offering. We are not about that. We are not about this being dogma of any sort, that this is a need for humanity. This is a choice for humanity to listen to these words and delve into these teachings and begin reshaping how you view your life and humanity and your entire earth experience. It's all available to you in these words. But we want to be very clear, and that question is perfection, because we do want to be very clear that none of you need any of this any more than you need any of the religions of your world or any of those tools. You can all manifest an expansive experience regardless of how you choose to operate. Those of you that find our words appealing are curious. You are curious about how the universe works. You're curious about what's going on with humanity. You're curious about your purpose in life. You're curious about how you find more joy, how you heal, how you love yourselves more, how you love and appreciate all of humanity more, even that which you're told you're not supposed to. That is what these teachings are about. And if you're so aligned, they are here for you. And when you reach a place in your journey that you wish to join a boot camp, David's or another, where you go deeper into something, all of those things hold the power that you give to it. The first thing David tells people when they enroll in his boot camp is this has the power that you give to it. And that holds true for the ones that give it power, because the power is already in you. The power to transform is already in you. Boot camp is about working with a group of individuals and coaches and learning modules and group meetings and community and mentoring and all of those things that allow you to take these teachings and make them your new way of being, so that you are operating in harmony with vibrational flow, which means you are operating in harmony with the universal process of creation. but we don't want to be misunderstood in believing that there is some need for every human being to do this. We understand that those of you that have been through it sometimes wish, from your ego perspective, that all of humanity would do it because it would solve every single problem that you have globally. However, that is not the goal of your humanity. The goal of your humanity is duality, is a polarized environment where you have a handful of people that are really going deep into this. You have many, many more who are not, and you have several more who are completely opposite of all of this. You do not create your own reality. You are a product of your environment, and you are either lucky or you're not. Or if you do the right things in life and you work hard enough, perhaps for somebody else, you're going to get some little glimmer of joy in the having of something. That is a belief system that is not in alignment with what we offer. But there are plenty of people, human beings, subscribing to it. And there is nothing wrong with that. That is creating the polarity for your environment that is actually creating the expansion of your environment, which creates the expansion of the entire universe. Your strand of consciousness, the strand of consciousness of the collective of humanity, the earth environment, on out from there into infinity is what creates the expansion of the universe. The consciousness projection in physical, in polarized environments, seeing things that you do not like and wanting to move away or evolve from them, and seeing things that you do like and wanting to experience them. That is the purpose of physical life.
Thank you. The last comment that we have is from Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for continuing to share these powerful reminders. Yes, that unraveling brings such clarity, and then all I have to do is make it a part of my new code. Beautiful, beautiful, Lisa. And thank you, John Fiore. We always love you. And any last words for everybody before that we are done? We're done with our questions.
You have created an interaction that is going to reverberate throughout humanity. You may not have a stadium full of beings ready for this message. Those of you that are here participating, whether you are live or you are stumbling upon this, as was shared earlier, in the future, you are part of this. You are extracting this. You are calling this in for yourselves. And however you receive it and however you process it, that is your choice and is your path and it is part of your human journey. What we want to depart with is a promise that you are here to have your human experience, and that experience was never intended by your eternal state of consciousness to be one of perfection, physical perfection, or emotional perfection, or wealth perfection, or stardom, or any of those things. All of those things exist in your world, and it's okay to admire them. It's okay to even desire them. But when your desire turns inward to you beating yourself up through self-judgment for not being all that your commercial world tells you to be, what are you doing to your vibration? It is our promise to you that you can find authentic love of self, authentic joy, authentic clarity, and abundance always flows from there, regardless of where you have been, regardless of where you are. With much love, that is what we have.
I'm back. He's back.
He's back.
Welcome back.
Ah.
Oh, that was good. That was really good.
That was like warm and fuzzy, like honey.
Yeah.
I felt it. It was good. That was nice.
Oh yeah, it was great. Tonight was kind of cool because we had a new viewer, and her name's Carol. Oh, Claire. Sorry, Claire. And Claire, she had some comments, and then the stream expanded on those comments. And it was great. It was really cool. So it was really neat. So I want to thank you again, Claire, for taking the time to type out such a lengthy comment, that because it takes a minute to do that, and I love that. This was so much fun.
Always is. So every Thursday night we're here at 5 p.m. Pacific on the Claim Your Power Hour. And also I'm participating in the Law of Attraction World Summit that's happening this weekend. So anywhere you follow us, email or the Facebook page, the Facebook group, the Taya Practice, Instagram, we will have announcements about all that, how you can participate in that. It's me and I think 39 other people
Oh,
teaching.
that's cool.
Yeah, and we were on StreamYard, and the wonderful lady Selena, who runs all of this, she's delightful, and I think you'll get to experience a little bit of her, and probably all these introductions at least. She came on to StreamYard, and she asked a question, and she just popped off, and I ended up just talking for an hour. Like, okay, I guess she popped off. I'm just going to keep going. So I kind of taught a
That's
mini.
awesome.
You get a little bit of how I came to channel the stream, and you get a little bit of a Taya masterclass woven into all that, and the universal process of creation. And it was so funny because I wrapped all of it up right at the end of the hour, and then she popped back on.
I love that.
Yep. So
And
grab some popcorn and a coffee or water or whatever, and hang out in my presentation for an hour, because you'll get a little mini masterclass of all of this stuff if you want it. If you so choose.
if you want it. Yeah.
If you haven't had enough stream tonight. Very different. I didn't channel at all. It was all me. But it was me talking about applying the stream's teachings in my life and in your life.
Oh, and I love that. That's beautiful, because the practical application of what the stream is teaching is what Taya Bootcamp is all about. And I'm a Taya graduate, and I put up here, in fact, it's just floating right across the screen, join our community. The Facebook group, it's called Taya Practice. Taya Practice. This is on a Facebook group, you guys. So please go ahead and join that. Just do a search, Taya Practice. Remember, trust your abundance. That is what Taya stands for.
Yeah, it is. It's the Taya Practice if you're having trouble. If you put Taya Practice in, it'll probably pop up though.
So Lewis says, lately I joined the stream and you turned my life in a way that I never thought would happen. Wow. Wow.
Nice. That makes
Wonderful.
me happy.
I love that. And I do hope you are chatting here from the Taya Practice group. If not, please go join it and become part of our community, and everybody else on there, no matter where you're watching from. And whether it's I see YouTube on here, it could be a number of Facebook pages. If it's not the Taya Practice group, please join us in there, because there's a lot of fun stuff that happens right inside. So that's enough of my promo. What else is going on there, David? We got more good stuff coming. We've got an event coming up in January, which is going to be live right here in Los Angeles, California. So if you want to be part of that, you definitely want to get onto the Taya Practice group page so that you're aware of all the information.
Facebook person, you can always go to our website, thestreamofdavid.com, and all that stuff will be announced there. Get on the mailing list. We don't bombard you with tons and tons and tons of mail. But if you get on the mailing list, and if you get the free ebook, you get on the mailing list, of course. But you can go to the website and just get on the mailing list also. So that you can go to thestreamofdavid.com, do that. You'll be on the list, and then you will receive updates about our summits. We have 4 summits planned for 2022. You will also, we will invite a select number of our email recipients and then some people outside of our community to be beta readers for the Taya Practice book. 4 years in the making, this book. That's almost ready to be published, almost ready for beta readers, and the plan is to publish it in 2022. So we've got all that coming up. So very exciting times in the world of the stream of David and the Taya Practice. So Debbie, I just want to thank you so much for hosting, as always, all the things that you do and the wonderful lives that you do on Tuesday. We are offering a lot of content in the group these days, and you're a big, big part of that. So I just want to show gratitude for you.
Thank you. And my gratitude right back, because this is a joy. So go ahead and keep continuing to type your comments in that we can see even later. If you're watching this at a later time, type your comments into the chat, regardless that it's not live.
Yeah, you can
love
ask
to hear
questions
from
in
you.
the chat. There's plenty of people, especially if you're in the Facebook group. There are lots of people in the Facebook group. We have group guides that are all Taya Bootcamp graduates that come in and interact with everybody in the group. So it's a great learning environment to start off your Taya practice. So even if you're not into Facebook or Metaverse or whatever it's going to be called now, it's a good use of Facebook to be in the group. And I don't go on my Facebook page. I couldn't begin to tell you what's happening on my Facebook page. I don't know. I go right to the groups. I go right to all the Taya groups, and I think we have several of them. But the big one is the Taya Practice, and that's for everybody. Everybody who wants to learn the Taya Practice, or has learned it, or is learning it, or is mastering it, or whatever level you're at, that's the group to really get into it.
That is. All right, guys. That's all for tonight. We'll catch you on the flip. Take it easy. Lemon squeezy like.